Hello, boys and girls. It's good for me to be here with you, reading one of James Herriot's stories from his Treasury for Children. The author, James Herriot, he was actually a veterinarian who lived many years ago in a country called England. He lived in a little town called Yorkshire, in which he was dealing with many farm animals, and most of his stories are reflections that he can remember from these encounters with these little animals. Today's story is about a little lamb. It's called Smudge, the Little Lost Lamb. Make sure that you are comfortable, that you don't have any distractions around you, and that you are ready to pay attention and enjoy the story. Before I go to my text, I'm going to introduce you to some words that you may find helpful. The first word is the word ewe. Now, ewe refers to a sheep's mother. The next word you're going to hear is the word posts. Now, posts refer to strong, large logs which are used to put up fences. Another word you may find unfamiliar is the word cropping. Now, cropping refers to cutting, making it shorter. Let's keep these words in mind as we turn to our text. Smudge, the little lost lamb. Harry had got up very early in the morning to help his father with the lambs. He had enjoyed holding the ewe and rubbing down the newborn lambs with straw to dry them. He liked all the animals on the farm and often helped his father with the cows, calves, and pigs. But spring was his favorite time, when the lambs were born. "They are grand, strong lambs," said Farmer Cobb, looking down at the twin lambs who were standing in the pen by their mother. "It was very good of you to get up early to help me, Harry. Would you like to have these 2 lambs for yourself?" "Oh, yes, please, Dad," said Harry. "All right then, they're yours. You must keep an eye on them. What are you going to call them?" Harry thought for a moment. "That one has got a funny white mark on his face. I'll call him Smudge, and his sister can be Smarty. Those are good names. Now it's time for you to get ready for school, so off you go." A few days later, Harry was with his father, and all the ewes and lambs were turned out into the field. Farmer Cobb looked at the flock spreading out across the wide expanse of grass. There were about 100 ewes, most of them with twin lambs, but some of them with just 1 and a few with 3. The field had walls on 3 sides, but where it met the lane there were posts and wire. "I hope I fastened that wire down tightly enough," he said. "Some of these Swaledale lambs will try to get underneath it. In fact, some aren't happy until they found a way out of the field." Farmer Cobb didn't know it at the time, but Smudge was one of those lambs. Boys and girls, take a moment to tell back to someone close by what you can remember from the text you've just heard. Perhaps you'd like to tell back from the part where Harry got up early in the morning. Good. For 3 weeks, the flock grazed in the spring sunshine, the ewes cropping the young grass, and the lambs playing happily and enjoying their mother's milk. One of the lambs' favorite games was to collect in little groups and dash up and down by the side of a wall. Harry used to laugh when he saw them racing along, leaping joyfully in the air. However, among the happy throng, there was one little lamb who wasn't content, and that was Smudge. He enjoyed the games well enough, but every day he had a growing urge to see what was outside the field. He was getting very tired of seeing only the walls and the stretch of wire. In fact, at the age of 3 weeks, Smudge was bored. He longed to escape and see what the world was like. And surely he thought there was some way he could get under that wire. Each day he worked his way along, nosing at where the wire met the grass. But Farmer Cobb had done his job well. Smudge was about to give up hope when one morning he found a tiny gap. He was able to get his nose through. Then, as he thrust and pushed, he got his neck and then all his body. Through with a final wriggle, he found himself on the other side. Boys and girls, take a moment to tell back this next section to your mum or dad. In our text, we heard how Harry got up early in the morning to help his dad with the animals. Let's think about that for a moment. If you were living on a farm and you had animals to tend to, what do you think about getting up early in the morning? And what exactly do you think the farmer was up to? In the second part of the text, we heard how the lambs were leaping joyfully into the air, and Harry was laughing at them. Let's think about a little lamb stuck in an enclosure. How are these little lambs making the best of their time there? Boys and girls, we've come to the end of our first day of Smudge, the Little Lost Lamb. Tomorrow, we go to the next part of Smudge's adventure. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.